going on, Jerome's? It's a beautiful Tuesday. Sun is shining, birds are chirping and stuff, and it's also freezing here in the great state of Minnesota. And, you know, living here, where we've talked about this. The only reason that we still live here is because family and friends live here. Now, if we just got some land, someplace warm, start a commune, have everyone live there. Okay, I'm going to start a cult. Producer Nelly, I talked about this. I feel like I could do it. I feel like I have the personality which could start a cult. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but we got some random NFL and Vikings news tidbits, so let's dive on in. First off, so wildcard weekend is done. We did a wildcard weekend video, so we're not going to dwell on it, but looking forward to these games. So you got the Chiefs at the Bills, you got the Texans, up against my Ravens. You got the Bucks going to absolutely poop on Ford Field and drop a deuce against the Lions. I actually think that, Baker's in a groove. That offense can run the ball. Todd Bowles going to blitz the living bejesus out of Jared Goff. I think they got a chance, man. And then the Niners are just going to starch the Packers. So for that we're thank you. We're thankful. And also the Bucks. Speaking of the Bucks, so putting the bang thing on the Eagles, man. So that defense got after it, and the Eagles were absolute ass. They're done. It's finito. It's over. They won Super Bowl back in 2017 on our home field. Whatever. And yes, they went to the Super Bowl last year, but they're fraudulent. They got exposed. Yeah, they started out 10-1, but they're the worst 10-1 team in NFL history. Kelsey's going to retire. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox going to be gone. A.J. Brown already wants out. And Jalen Hurts, who I like as a person, I don't think that he's the dude. I don't think that he's the guy. Sirianni's get fired. Howie's just going to get rid of everyone and just burn this thing to the ground. And you hate to see it. So the commies are the commies. The Cowboys got exposed, even though it was the freaking Packers. But McCarthy's going to be gone. Dak is ass. Jalen Hurts is ass. The Eagles are terrible. And the Giants are also bad. So the NFC least just pointing at you like this, man. It's tough. Also tough is, so the Steelers had too many injuries. And they don't have a quarterback and no TJ Watt, but they put up the good fight. Fell a little bit short in Buffalo. It is what it is. But Tomlin, who I love Mike Tomlin forever, man. So 17 straight winning or above 500 seasons, got himself a Super Bowl. I love Mike Tomlin and respect. Mainly it goes back to he's a true leader of men, and of course he coordinated the number one run defense in the NFL in 2006. Now, it was one of those misnomers where, actually, did they have the best run or pass defense? I forget. It was one of the two. But either way, it was because it was so easy to do the other thing on that defense. But it's whatever. But Tomlin's coming up on a contract year. He's going to be a lame duck. And generally, teams, they don't like having their coaches being lame ducks because if things don't go well, players can tune them out as hey, I have more years on my contract than you do, man. But I think that Tomlin is going to be back in Pittsburgh. I think they'll work something out. They got to find themselves a quarterback. That's why I'm a little bit worried that they would be all in on Kirk Cousins as a free agent. And ideally for me, I would like Kirk back on a one-year deal and the Vikings move up and get their quarterback and go from there. But also, I believe in what Kevin O'Connell is doing here. But again, if Mike Tomlin became a free agent, and bringing him here to the Minnesota Fighting Vikings, and he and Flores also have a working relationship from Pittsburgh 2 years ago, keeping him on as DC. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Again, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So, that's all, man. Speaking of head coaches potentially moving on, so Belichick, he's already gone from New England, but it's clear it was more of a parting of the ways between him and Robert Kraft, and Belichick ain't done yet, even at age 72. He wants another bite at the apple. Pelissero, legendary coach Bill Belichick, and the Falcons owner Arthur Blank met in person recently to discuss Atlanta's head coaching job per sources. No deal is imminent, but there is mutual interest and conversations are ongoing. Could you imagine Bill Belichick? So got all the Super Bowl rings, all the bona fides, creeping up on the all-time wins record for a head coach. Just having him interview, like, did Belichick have to wear a tie Did he have to say, yes, sir, no, sir, Mr. Blank? I mean, Arthur Blank made all his money at Home Depot. Did he have to hum the Home Depot theme song? But it's great. Like, so for the Falcons and the Patriots, who go way back like chiropractic, like, what was the question? Hey, Belichick, when did you face adversity in your career, and how did you overcome it? It'd be rough, man. But that would be a full circle moment. And Atlanta, if they can find a quarterback, I mean, they got weapons. But I do think that Belichick is heading to Dallas. I think that's what's going to happen, man. I just don't think that Jerry Jones is going to take no for an answer. I think he's going to throw all the money at Belichick. Hell, he might even throw part ownership of the Cowboys at Belichick. We'll see, man. But also, we'll see is that the Vikings, they got to get something going along the defensive line. They got to rebuild that bully. And you saw what happened in the wild card round. I mean, the teams that control the line of scrimmage generally tend to win. 10 to have won. It's whatever. And the Vikings, so they haven't spent a first or second round pick on the defensive line since 2013, Sharif Floyd. But Christian Wilkins is set to become a free agent. Now, he may become a free agent in the same way like Daron Payne was a free agent where, he could test the market. Oh, we'll franchise tag you. Oh, we'll sign you to a long-term deal. But if he does break free and the Dolphins don't tag him and they don't extend him, reuniting with Brian Flores, where Wilkins was Flores' numero uno draft pick in Miami, and would shore up a lot of things. Wilkins is a prodigious run stuffer, as well as he is solid getting after the passer. I think he's a great all-around defensive tackle. He's also a great leader. He was team captain with the Dolphins. He was the team captain back in the day. Back at Clemson, he would be an absolute home run addition along the defensive line that sorely needs it. He could play multiple positions too, so I think that it would be elite. It would be an absolute home run hire home run free agent signing if they're able to bring Wilkins in. Also, so I fully understand that Michael Penix Jr. after his whatever game in the national title game against the Wolverines, basically off a lot of people's draft boards, like, oh, he's too old. Oh, he shat himself in the big time game. Oh, he had all the weapons at Washington, couldn't do anything. Oh, the medicals. But also, people forget he had 2 years of really good tape and also beat the piss out of a very good Texas defense. But I digress there. And I think Penix is going to the Senior Bowl. He's going to be down in Mobile, which is going to really help his draft stock. I think if Penix in Washington with Kalen DeBoer, who's now the head coach at Alabama. It's like, again, 4 years ago, the new head coach at Alabama was offense coordinator at Indiana. But Penix, I think he wants to get that taste out of everyone's mouth from his performance in the national title game. And yes, his O-line let him down. Yes, he got banged up early on. Yes, Michigan was whatever. But I think Penix is going to put on a show down in Mobile. And the key thing is about practice and also exposing himself to scouts, exposing himself to these teams and decision makers, and as well as, I mean, a lot of draft writers do attend the Senior Bowl down in Mobile. Veets, what up? And the whole thing about it is like seeing a prospect in person. It's completely different. And Penix with a big time arm, frankly, I think he might have the best arm in this class. The accuracy, just the snap off the wrist, like he's got an insanely quick release. The ball just explodes out of his hand. I think that's going to be impressive. And yes, it's hard to ignore what happened in the Michigan game on the biggest stage of his career. But I still believe in Penix, and I think that him having a great Senior Bowl, a great combine, and a great pro day is going to help erase a lot of that not so great stuff that happened in the Michigan game, because there's a lot to like about Penix. And lastly, so True Detective is back. Jody Foster is leading up this new season. I haven't watched the full episode. In fact, I'm a couple seasons behind because the first season of True Detective with McConaughey and Woody Harrelson was peak amazingness. I watched part of the Vince Vaughn and Colin Farrell one. Didn't really finish it. Haven't really watched the other ones, but True Detective on HBO. I love it because it's a contained anthology storyline, blah, blah, blah. And this time around, it's up. I think it's in Alaska. There's like some supernatural elements. Don't matter. But what caught a lot of people's eyes, like, oh my God. Jody Foster wearing the Vikings sweatshirt. Clearly a Vikings fan. Maybe she grew up in Minnesota as her backstory. I don't know. Who knows, man? But she got into law enforcement. She's laying down the law, and she's a great law enforcement officer because nothing can face her. Like she is unhurtable because she's dead inside. Like her team has snatched her soul, so now she only abides by law and order, or something like that. It's almost as good as the dude from How I Met Your Mother, as the Vikings fan cameo, but it's great. It's great. I really hope. I mean, it's True Detective, so this is going to end up bad anyway. But I really hope she doesn't get on the show, because we need more Vikings fans in this world, especially one that's as awesome as Jody Foster. So there you go. But that's it. No end on that. How about... Nah, yeah, there we go. That's it. Vikings news dump for this wonderful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.